And we are back on the air, and it is time for the 15-minute time limit. I do not have the dinging bell sound. I don't even have my soundboard, so I'm just going to say ding, ding, ding. And this week, our 15-minute time limit, if NetJester has started the clock, is, dear God, is this ever going to get better? It seems like it just...
You mean life?
Well, I mean, I knew that. But I was referring more to the direction the WWE is going lately. It seems like there's a whole lot of nothing, and it's a whole lot of nothing good going on in the company lately.
As I said in the news, it's stalled. That's exactly what it is. It's one big stall until WrestleMania, which they see as their almost, saving grace golden goose, which it is, but at the same time, it's, you can't bank your whole year on one show. I've said it on this show several times. It'd be one thing if Raw was a 20-minute show and, they had one pay-per-view to promote the whole year, but, they don't. They have 12 or 13 pay-per-views, and Raw's a 3-hour show, with commercials and everything.
Isn't that part of the problem, though, that Raw is a 3-hour show and there are 13 pay-per-views?
I don't think so.
I was just thinking, if you actually did something with the undercard, with the midcard, with the divas, it could be a pretty fascinating 3-packed hours, but they really don't do anything with them.
Exactly. It's more of a matter of filler. It's an idea that, they have these people, but still, and what really slays me about it, it's really not that hard to do. It's really not. I mean, it's not hard to get really anybody over in that position. And the evidence I have for that I cite for that, is the way that most of the divisions tag team, Intercontinental US Championships, Divas Championship, they usually run on the idea that, whoever's facing the champion that month, there's your division-wide swing, and then everybody else kind of takes a back seat and doesn't really do anything until it might be their turn to challenge the champion. And, they've gotten a little better with it, in the past year. They had the whole Rhodes family versus McMahon deal. They brought the New Age Outlaws back now. The whole Divas division, as unfortunate as it is, at least it's something. The whole idea of this total divas versus actual divas.
But they're not even doing that. They completely dropped that, presumably because the Bellas got ass hurt about the promo that AJ cut.
Oh yes, the AJ pipe bomb. Well, this, that's another thing. You have only certain people, which you believe in your mind, that can draw, and you have this entire rest of the roster that you absolutely do nothing with. I mean, if you're going to be that short-sighted, then fire all of the roster that you don't like and see where these golden stars of yours can take you. We just love to see a card with just Cena, Orton, the Bellas, and a few others, and like let's forget that Dolph Ziggler or The Miz or Daniel Bryan or anybody we favorite is even there.
Yeah, it's and that really kills me too. They have the work gets done for them, basically. I mean, Daniel Bryan getting reactions on par with Cena at the moment, and yet they just refused to. Well, now granted, they broke him away from the Wyatts, and they're apparently seriously considering putting him in the main event at WrestleMania and everything. Which, by the way, I don't expect. I'm sure we'll get into this next week, but I don't expect anybody but Orton to win the Elimination Chamber match, and I don't think you should either, because I don't think they're going to mess with that idea. You know, they might put Bryan in the match, but I don't think they're going to mess with the idea of Orton versus Batista. Which maybe they should, but I digress. You know, I think it's a matter of, you know, they really just. Some people have brought up the idea of paying dues. You know, you have to take some shots before you know, are allowed to be in the big time, basically. And I understand that, and I agree with it on some level. But you know, but somebody said it in such a obnoxious way, basically, and I could tell he was fishing for a reaction. But you know, the idea, you know, I answered him anyway. It's basically like, you know, here's a guy who, you know, international superstar out on the independent scene, you know, debuts in NXT where he chugs soda and, you know, kind of sort of is forced to quit and get eliminated. Plus his pro was The Miz, who, I actually have good things to say about Miz, but you know, honestly, at the end of the day, it's The Miz training Daniel Bryan. You know, they did it on purpose. But anyway, so there's that. Then there's the fact that, you know, he did win the world title, but then he lost it to Sheamus in 18 seconds. And the year before, they had a great match that everybody loved, but it was a dark match. It wasn't anything. Now you have a guy, literally, and this is where it gets important to me. Literally, the past 6-7 months, the idea of Daniel Bryan was that he was not good enough. They literally said it. That was the whole storyline. He's not good enough. He's a B player. He's not a main eventer. He's not the face. And he got beaten down and beaten down and beaten down. And then where was the payoff, you know? He kind of got his reward for all of that, you know, 4 straight pay-per-view main events. He got to kind of sit on the sideline and watch Big Show punch Triple H and kind of get beat up by the Wyatt family in a 3-on-1 match and then get beat by Wyatt clean in the Royal Rumble, which admittedly was a good match. But, you know, it's this whole idea of, you know, when is it, how many dues, when is it not paying dues anymore? It's just about, like, a purposeful act. You know what I mean? And I'm not even saying that Ryan has to be champion. And I'm not even saying he has to be in the main event, even though that's basically what this entire business has been founded on, the principle that your top guy is represented as champion, and that's, and that's how you make your money. But, I'm just saying they should treat him like the star he is, and it seems like maybe they kind of are starting to, because they kind of don't have a choice. It's just disappointing that it's taken this long and this much pushing from the audience, and not even the WWE audience, but like other sports audiences, like what was it, the Missouri basketball crowd doing the yes chants and everything, and that's the thing that forces them to kind of realize, you know what I mean? And plus the fact that CM Punk's gone now, and now, like, maybe Bryan can take his spot with whatever he was supposed to do. It's just disappointing that they don't capitalize, because I tell you, that's just that old saying, millionaires who could be millionaires, that whole idea. And, I don't see any reason why you would spitefully do that, no matter how much you hate the idea. And not just as a wrestling fan or Daniel Bryan fan, but as a genuine fan of the product.
Even as someone who has, even like a basic understanding of how a business works. I mean, if you make one certain kind of cupcake, and that cupcake is the one that gets talked about by everyone, and that they all want to come in and buy, but you're like, I don't really like that cupcake so much, so I'm only gonna make a handful of them. And that's all. I don't really care for it, so you know, I'm not going to give what other people want. It's about what I like. Money be damned. You just don't do that.
Not if you want to stay in business, that's for damn sure. But, yeah, I guess we should semi-switch tracks as to, dear God, when is this ever going to get better? If we have something really big that really shakes us up, maybe Sting being official in the WWE and something, but I can't see what that can be on the horizon right now. Can either of you guys?
Well, I'll tell you this. As bleak as things have been for a while now, and I've been pretty down on wrestling, and not just WWE, there's a lot of other things. You know, it seems like, for whatever reason, it seems like independents are sort of on a downswing. Like, we mentioned Chikara and the fact that they did their whole year-long hiatus, that you can Ring of Honor is not jumping very much, and TNA has sort of in trouble, and, you know. But I'll say this, it is WrestleMania season, even though, and WrestleMania is not quite as predictable as it was, you know, even a month ago. Plus the fact they've got the network launching, which is going to be this big, huge thing. They're going to bring Hogan back. They might have Sting. I guess what I'm saying is, although they've stalled all these months, they stalled to something, you know. So I guess in my mind I'm thinking I might as well see what that something is. You know, it's kind of like that whole Contact. You're watching the movie Contact, you know. It's awful. It doesn't make sense. It's droning on and on. But I gotta stay to the end. I gotta see what the alien looks like. You know. Hopefully it won't just be her dad.
Oh my lord, that's hilarious. By the way, I actually met that guy once, but, yeah, unless, you know, they do super something that's secret or cataclysmic with either the WWE Network or with WrestleMania, I don't see this getting better for a time, unless, you know, I read an article lately on Yahoo, which is Yahoo Sports has been doing a lot of professional wrestling articles lately, that these guys think that crowds going rogue right in the arena and doing their own chants and doing their own waves and stuff and not paying attention to the stuff in the ring might hurt the company in WWE in the short term, but might actually make it better in the long term. I think if WrestleMania gets really crappy, then the only thing that can save us are the fans there as they do some sort of chant or the wave or just literally turn their backs on Orton Batista. I mean, that's about the only thing that I think can get through Trips and Vince's heads right about now.
Yeah, I like when crowds aren't afraid to shit all over something that's bad. It annoys me when there's something decent going on and, you know, they're chanting for Lawler or JBL or whatever. That shit annoys me. But when they just shit all over a legitimately bad thing that's going on, I'm all for that. And really, the WWE should be paying attention to that more than what they do. I mean, look how long it took them to realize, oh, Bryan's kind of over. I mean, he's making huge merchandise sales and people are chanting, but, you know, we're just going to ignore that for a little while and we'll see where this goes.
I think he's number 4. I heard he was number 4, or I guess number 3 if you don't count Him anymore. Even though you probably still will for a few months. But basically it's what I said in the news, which is this idea that, you know, even though everything surrounding the matches has been dumb, like, you know, all of this story and the fact that they're not really built up as much as they could be. The matches themselves have not been that bad. I mean, you know, we had that Orton-Bryan match on Raw, and even this Orton-Cena match this week on Raw, which was pretty decent. And, you know, the whole... You know, we still have good tag team wrestling. The Divas, well, you know, everybody's got to use the facilities at some point. But, you know, it's... I don't think it's quite at a drop everything step. I think it really depends on the next month or two, WrestleMania. That's what they've been building to. And if that's a disappointment, which sometimes WrestleMania tends to be, especially in these recent years, then maybe it'll be time to say, I don't know if I can really stick by this for a whole ton longer,
Alright, well that'll wrap it up for the 15-minute time limit. And that means it's time to go into segment 3, the kayfabe issues. This week I've created a new game, and this one is called Word Association. I will say a name of a WWE superstar. It should have been called Name Association, because I ended up putting all names. Probably should have done... Holy shit, I'm sorry, I got distracted by this poodle whose tail and back hair looked like a cock and balls. So I'm going to say a name, and you guys are going to tell me the first word that pops into your mind when I say that name. Omega BR, we'll start with you. AJ Lee.
Girl.
Okay. Netjester? First thing that pops into your mind when I say AJ Lee.
Don't think about it, just say it.
Telling Netjester not to think. Okay, so Netjester's gone, and it's just me and you now. This is going to be a good show for people to listen to later. It's just two guys, and they're like, so this thing is going on. Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Just two guys, talking about wrestling. There's nothing wrong with that.
Alright, let's see. He shut off his mic. Alright, so here we go. AJ Lee, the first thing that comes to mind is underutilized. Because she is the Divas champ.
That's 2 words.
Isn't it hyphenated?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Utilization list. She doesn't get used enough. She is the Divas champ, and basically that means nothing. She just gets paired with friggin' Snuka's daughter, Tamina, and then they don't even do much of anything together. It's just sort of a thing that's there. It happens. Sometimes there's like tag matches, and then that's it. They really should let her go through and gone through with the whole Real Divas versus Totally Divas or Total Divas thing. I think that would have been really interesting, even when the Total Divas came out on top. So next up here, Omega BR. First thing that comes to your mind when I say John Cena.
Frankfurter.
Holy cow, there's a Schnauzer on TV.
Jesus Christ, Netchester. Frankfurter? Would you care to elaborate?
So I was going to say hot dog, but that of course is 2 words, so... he's a bit of a Frankfurter.
And he'd better not hurt her. Little Rocky Horror reference for you. I'm going to say... bullshit. That is the first thing that comes to mind. And that is 1 word. Bullshit.
Yeah, you stole my Rocky Horror reference there.
The things they do with John Cena. He gets likened to Superman, and people say, oh, well, Omega, you said, even Superman dies. But I would say he's more like Wolverine. Not in attitude, but in the... he can take, like, the equivalent of a nuclear blast and then just come back like nothing happened. It's just... It's awful. unnecessary for anyone to be that OP. NetJester, what is the first word that comes to mind, if you'll shut up and let me finish, when I say John Cena? The first word.
Well, nuclear blast, cockroaches,
one word.
Wolverine.
No,
And John Cena.
You get one
cockroaches.
word.
Cockroaches! La cucaracha, la cucaracha!
So basically you just, like, hijacked my entire concept there. Way to go. You're so original.
You did
Omega
the same
BR.
thing to me 2 minutes ago.
Oh, Omega BR. What is the first thing that comes to mind? The first word when I say Bella Twins.
It's not really a word, it's more a series of keyboard symbols, usually used in succession to represent an
Expletives. That's fair enough. I'm going to say useless, because they are useless. I don't think they sell a lot of merch. They don't do anything in the ring. They're not really over. The only thing they have going for them is that Total Divas show, and that's not wrestling, so we don't care about that, which means they're useless. NetJester, what's the first word that comes to mind when I say Bella Twins? And before
Bella
fellatio.
Oh, no, I wouldn't go there. I'll let Cena and Bryant have their day, but Bella Twins, how about Bellatrix Lestrange? Because, yeah.
I don't know what that is, but
That's a Harry Potter reference.
A minus 25 kajillion points to you for once again referring to Daniel Bryan as Bryant. It is Bryan, Bryan. There is no T at the end. And I hope something horrible happens to you. Omega BR, could you tell us what the first word that comes to mind is when I say Vince McMahon?
Pistachio.
Okay, you've piqued my curiosity.
Well, I don't know, you see those pistachio commercials everywhere and how they are, pistachio is a pretty basic concept, and yet, all of these commercials, all these celebrities and famous doodads, promoting these pistachios, they must be truly wonderful, Vince McMahon taking this concept of, the wrestling, two guys, sort of a staged thing, very basic in the original days, maybe some suplexes, maybe a clothesline here or there, and builds it up into this brand, this idea that, he should really be focusing on the pistachio, but it feels like the pistachio, you can't improve on the pistachio anymore, so you have to branch out into other ways. You can't just put a commercial on TV and say, here's pistachios, they're wonderful, you buy them. No, you got to get Dennis Rodman to say how much he loves the pistachios. You got to get the Gundam style guy to dance with the pistachios. You got to get Stephen Colbert to wear a green suit and rip his head open and there's a pistachio. You got to, wrestling is the pistachio.
Right.
Is the wonderful. The pistachio wrestling can't just be you can't just have wrestling, you have to have it.
Yeah, that reminds me of a Jim Cornette quote that I shall butcher horribly, but wrestling is two guys are going to fight. Here's why. Who's going to win? And that's all there is to it. Let's see, NetJester, what do you think when I say Vince McMahon?
I will go to my soundboard for this one because it's the most obvious.
Fuck!
fucking bullshit!
Alright, and...
Hey, you had it right!
You know what?
How's about that?
You know what, we're going to skip 5. And we're going to go straight to the Dairy Queen drive-thru because I don't know how much longer I can stomach NetJester without pulling a test. A draws. And I don't mean a draws in that I will vomit. I mean that I will paralyze myself in an attempt to no longer have to deal with him.
I thought you just meant vomit all over yourself, which would be interesting for you.
No, but here with the ratings is NetJester.
From the Dairy Queen drive-thru, the ratings this week. TNA Impact Wrestling, airing February 6, 2014, scored a 1.24 Nielsen rating. The number was up slightly from the past week's 1.18 rating and on par with the 1.25 scored 2 weeks ago. Impact was watched by approximately 1.481 million viewers. The number is up slightly from the past week's 1.449 million viewers. On cable TV's Thursday night, Impact rated 25 in overall viewers, 27 in the male demographic of 18 to 34, and 15 in the male demographic of 18 to 49. And then moving along to SmackDown. Friday.
Oh, for the love of God.
1 second. Friday Night SmackDown was the top cable program with a 0.9 adults in the 18 to 49 ratings demographic.
It was not a 0.9, but that is the only rating I could find for SmackDown was the 18 to 49 demographic.
Sad but true. Anyway, moving to Raw. Monday's episode of WWE's Monday Night Raw drew a 4.33 million viewers and a 1.53 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. Those numbers are up 3% and 7% respectively from 4.12 million and 1.43 last week. The show did hours of 4.50 million for the first, 4.34 million for the second, and 4.15 million for the third.
And now with the birthdays, me! Let's see here. On the 11th of this wonderful month of February, we have Hot Stuff Hernandez. On the 14th, we have the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer, Ayako Hamada. Did I say that right, Omega?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. And Mabel, a.k.a. Viscera. And the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. On the 5th, we have Lufisto, also known as Precious Lucy, and Jenna Maraska. On the 16th, Gangrel, wonder whatever happened to that guy. And on the 17th, the barbaric berserker, Jimmy Jacobs, and also Ricardo Rodriguez, also known as Chimera. And now, with this week in wrestling history, Omega BR.
Yes, this week in wrestling history, circa 1972, where WWF World Champion Pedro Morales defeats Fred Blassie in a steel cage match at the Civic Center in Baltimore, Maryland by escaping over the top of the cage. The match had been promoted with the concept that Blassie had invented the cage match and was therefore unbeatable in it. Jump to 1982, where the Midnight Rider, actually the suspended Dusty Rhodes under a mask, defeats Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in Tampa, Florida. However, after the match, NWA President Bob Geigel demanded that the Midnight Rider unmask. If Rhodes revealed that it was him, he would have been banned for life, so he refused and instead gave up the championship and returned it to Flair. And in 2010, WWE's version of Extreme Championship Wrestling would come to an end with a broadcast on Sci-Fi from Kansas City, Missouri, that sees Ezekiel Jackson defeat Christian to become the final ECW champion before the title is retired. And that was this week in wrestling history.
Alrighty, and that brings us to the Happy Trails. Happy Trails to John Cena. He granted his 400th wish as part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The Make-A-Wish Foundation. A turn into Dusty Road. It's got that bicycle.
That one.
It's the most of any celebrity in history for Make-A-Wishes. So, say what you will about his wrestling stuff. He's a nice guy, I guess. And also Happy Trails to longtime WWE audio tech Frank Bullock, who passed away recently after a battle with cancer. And that is it for the Happy Trails. And now, Omega BR, what do we watch this week in wrestling?
Oh goodness, I don't know. What are you asking me here? I suppose. I guess I'll just go ahead and say that National Pro Wrestling Day event, which was actually broadcast free on iPay-per-view. I haven't gotten a chance to watch a lot of it yet, but I think it's out there for free somewhere, possibly on YouTube. It wasn't quite the spectacle it was last year. It was mostly people familiar with that group of people the wrestling is and Chikara and such. But from what I hear, there were several nice matches on it. And if you're looking to get into that whole thing now that it's, starting to go somewhere again, then, for free wrestling ain't bad.
Alright, and Ned Esther.
Brilliant intro as always. I am going to suggest any match from one of my favorite Japanese professional wrestlers, because quite frankly, she's doing a storyline right now that is making me scratch my head. Kana has morphed into this lesbian, juggalo-ish killer clown who we don't know if she's actually having some kind of nervous breakdown or this is kayfabe, but the matches that have been part of it with her arch rival Shuri and a few others, they've been interesting to say the least. I just don't know where this is going, but if you want to get into Japanese pro wrestling, especially good women's matches, which is something we just don't get with the Divas division here, check out anything on YouTube with the name Kana attached to it.
Alright, and I am going to suggest the New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view that I missed last night because it didn't come on until 2 o'clock in the morning. But I fully intend to watch later on this evening if it is up on a certain place where you could theoretically pirate, things. If you were the type of person that did that sort of stuff. Omega, refresh my memory for the name of it. I think it was
The name of what?
The New Japan pay-per-view that was on last night. Do you know?
Oh,
for the
Road to something.
Oh, okay.
I didn't actually see it either.
Yeah, I did. I couldn't stay up. It didn't come on until 2 o'clock in the morning. But
Hey! I've got an idea.
What?
Why don't we ask Mock Conqueror?
Or you know what? I'm okay with that. Mock Conqueror, could you give us a suggestion for what to watch this week in wrestling?
Well, this week in wrestling marks a significant anniversary. The Extreme Minneapolis Wrestling Backyard Society is having its first pay-per-view, and it's really going to be a great show. It's not something I made up just now on the spot. You should come out, show your support.
Okay, that's a thing that is apparently happening, and you should do that.
It was the New Beginning in Osaka. That was the
that is. Yes. All right. Well, that does it for the show. This has not been a very good one, and we can blame Gunner for that.
Oh, is the podcast happening right now?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm so sorry for interrupting.
Oh no, it's fine. The show sucked.
We're almost over.
It sucked anyways.
Oh, hey, we should do a Family Feud thing for Elimination Chamber.
You know, I would be okay with that. We'll have to get a hold of Gunner since he's the one that runs the games. I did miss the last one.
Oh, look at this! Look at this!
Speak of the devil.
He's in the sewer lobby. Let's get his butt in here.
Move him, Omega. Get that son of a bitch in here. Oh, you bastard.
What the hell happened?
Did you almost die or something?
No, I just had a little work to do. I texted you.
Did you? Because I did not get that text. But that is okay.
Gay.
We did the show. It was awful. You weren't here.
In fact, we're in the last few minutes of doing it still. We still haven't signed off yet.
So, just real quick before we go, we'll take up the last couple of minutes with some overtime. Be sure to visit www.smarksnark.com. Takes you right to our Spreaker page where you can view all the previous podcasts that we've put up on Spreaker. Also, if you need to contact us, you could do that on our Twitter, which is twitter.com/smarksnark, or our email address, which is smarksnark@gmail.com. Send us your questions. Angry hate mail for NetJester will be forwarded to his actual address.
Because that's all I need.
You can check out our Facebook that we never update because fuck Facebook, it's terrible, which is facebook.com/smarksnark. I think I logged into it like 6 months ago for 5 minutes on accident.
I logged into it like last week.
See, Gunner's doing it. So go look at that.
It's
a thing.
He'll poke you.
It's a thing that happens.
Does that go
How about
where?
Google Plus, Google Circle account?
Yes, we have. I'm sure we have Google Plus. We have a YouTube account.
Yeah, youtube.com/smarksnark.
Woo is serious tout, perhaps?
We should get. We had one of those at one point.
Yes, we did have a tout. None of us
Then
are.
we forgot about it, like the WWE
Well,
forgot about
no.
theirs.
Here's what happened. None of us are attractive enough to appear on camera.
Excuse me.
So we farmed that out to a guy who was attractive enough to appear on camera, and then he just never did it. I probably should have paid him, but Jew, so wasn't going to do it.
Oh, no. I'll have you know that my neck beard is finally trimmed.
Oh, really, Mr. Fifth Beetle?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that
I have
is
a very nice beard. I actually have an Orton beard right now, which is interesting. We have the same type of growth in our facial hair.
Oh, my good lord.
See, this show just took an awful turn that we're talking about Orton's growth.
And we need to end it.
All right, that'll do it for us tonight. We thank you for listening, though you're probably not. But to the 20 or 30 or so people that actually manage to find this show every week and listen to it, you guys are the best. Everyone else is a bunch of bastards, and we hope bad things happen to them unless they start listening to the show, and then go them. So with that said, take care.
Are you gonna finish that?
Take care.
You're supposed to say spike your hair, and then NetJester will say, and then NetJester will say woo woo.
Just fucking do it.
And then take care, spike your hair.
Woo woo woo.
Gunner's a faggot.
You know it.
Good night, Kansas City.